This is a culmination of what we see a very heightened participation of political leaders in the church. Unlike before, where people will come and sit and worship and go, now there is more participation in terms of the political statement being made in front of the church. And I think that's where I began by looking at that observation. And every Sunday when we watch actually the news and see where the politicians participated in church, because that's what will come to the news anyway, we don't see the sermon, we don't see the worship, even song, even a single song which has been sung.
You want us to play those in the news?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Carry on. It's your,
and we don't hear the reading of the word itself. What we hear, the presence of the politician who was present in that day, making a political statement, and the bishop and the clergy at the background probably making a little nod, which looked like what happened in that church and what was processed in that church that day is not per se worship according to the news bite of that day, is a political statement. And I thought then we are making a very big confusion, because there is a whole collapsing of boundaries that where the word is supposed to be taught and preached has been taken over by people who are making political statements instead of the sermon, instead of the worship hour. And I thought this has to change. Of course, it did not start yesterday. It started gradually. And all of a sudden, I realized we are going to be overrun, and the church completely will have no other message other than that which is being seen.
Had you consulted the various dioceses that make up your assemblies, or for you, it was the way you communicated to them? No,
I had communicated earlier. I put it in the wall of bishops. Even last week, I put a video caption of church leaders standing behind a politician, making a political statement, and all the people accompanying our church leaders, and I was telling them, are we ready to become cheerleaders? Because what I see is that the church is becoming almost cheerleaders of what political statements are happening. So I said, you know, I have made a communication telling them, let us stop politicians from participating in churches. You remember the fracas we had in Murang'a South Diocese, when inside the church, two opposing groups began to yell at each other and divided the Christians themselves there, and they began howling words on each other because of the support of the politicians standing in front. And we thought, no, this has to change completely. And I said yesterday, it is different from telling people and telling others to stop it. Let me begin in a service. I am present, and the political class are there, and say today a change has to happen. And you know, you remember the words I used, we have to shift gear. And the shifting is, I have the mic here, but I'm not going to hand over.
You're not going to hand over. And I'm going to allow the Sheikh to come in because I know he has a reaction on this. But have you gotten the reactions you were expecting? Is the feedback what you expected?
The feedback I'm very happy about, because the church fraternity are all in support, and my bishop said this is the way to go. I know...
no disgruntled parties anywhere?
Yes. No. In my church, you know, I spoke about the Anglican Church of Kenya. I don't know the feedback of other churches, but for the Anglican Church of Kenya, my bishops are in unison, and the support and the comment in the wall of the House of Bishops of the Anglican Church of Kenya is enormous. So I don't know about other churches, and I speak on behalf of the Anglican Church of Kenya.
That's a fair point to make. Sheikh, thanks so much for your time as well. And with COVID-19 protocols ensuring that we don't see as many political gatherings as we would have seen, let's say 5 years ago, or if there was no COVID, a lot of politicians have taken to pulpits to propagate their messages, and yet we don't hear of these in the mosques. How? Let's start there.
Well, Iga, first of all, allow me, please. I want to congratulate Archbishop Sapit.
Feel free. You have the stage.
It's a very brave statement. It was timely. As Muslims, we have been waiting for it for a very long time. We thought it may not come, but finally we got our brother making that very brave statement. I congratulate him for that. For us, the mosque is a holy place. It is the house of God. Immediately you come and enter the gates of a mosque. You leave all your worldly things outside. And once you enter that place, there is nobody's position, status, which is going to be recognized. Whether you are a minister, or whether you are a pauper, or whether you are a beggar, you are all equal once you enter the mosque. So the question of politicians being given special treatment inside the mosque, being asked to move from back to the front line, to go and take over the pulpit and start addressing the people does not occur in a mosque at all, anywhere in the world. It is forbidden, completely forbidden. Yes, there are circumstances. If the committee does feel that to invite them for the interest of the community, they can be called. For example, you just asked about something very important, about the COVID-19. If you take a place like Jamia Mosque, on a Friday we get between 10 and 15,000 for the Friday prayers. You have got a very big audience.
A ready audience, and a
ready audience that has already assembled. You don't need to mobilize them. So in a place like that one, if it is necessary, the committee of that mosque can call people who are specialized in that field. Doctors, health workers, or even in some cases, if it's a politician who is going to address specifically that subject, can be called in the interest of the community and for the welfare of the people who are there. But never will we allow politicians to come and take over the pulpit and address and politic in a mosque. Because if you allow one, will you stop the other one? Any sitting politician has got somebody opposing him, either immediately in the coming elections. So if you allow one of them, are you going to allow the other ones to come in? Are you going to favor one against the other one? But basically the principles of and the etiquette of coming into the mosque is you leave your worldly things outside, you come there having cleansed not only your body, because we do ablution before coming there. Once you walk in there, you also try to cleanse your heart. You come in there, you try to reflect to the sins that you have committed outside. You come there in such a humble manner that you hand over yourself to your Creator and ask for forgiveness. So under such circumstances, you cannot come with your haughtiness and start threatening people and politic and talk about your might and how you are going to take over the country and politics. So that's our position.
Archbishop, I'm sure you have a reaction to that. Are you hearing it? And how do you get that refocus back? Because you're right in that that's the message that we now hear from a lot of churches after Sunday.
Yeah, actually, where I have reached and with the Anglican Church of Kenya is we must have a refocusing and a new way of beginning to look at things and to focus at the church and the church space as a place of worship and solemn prayer, and we should not mix with other things. The problem we have done in the past is that we have collapsed the boundaries. In many ways, and I can say the Christian family, we have collapsed the boundary in many ways. And one of the boundaries that has been collapsed was through, I think that the entry was through what was developed in the 70s and carrying through the 80s, the African spirit of mobilizing resources to bring together through the Harambees spirit, pulling resources together to address a need. And we use that to build schools, we use it to build dispensaries, it has been used to pay hospital bills and pay school fees, and churches followed suit that when we are building churches, we call Harambees. Now, in the calling of those Harambees is where now we have adopted the place of somebody called the guest of honor. And when the guest of honor comes, you know, in the African spirit of wanting to, you know, embrace, we give an opportunity to greet the people. So it started gradually, like a moment of greeting, a moment of recognition, but slowly by slowly, it became more intense, and now it's no longer greeting, it is a place for making political statements. And this is where I felt the church should not be the place to make political statements. It should be the place of worship, a place of prayer, a place of repentance. And I said, even yesterday, we are not going to bar anybody from coming to church. Even politicians are not barred from coming to church, but their place is in the pews. While the ministers of the gospel, the preachers of the word, the teachers of the word are the ones to direct worship and to lead worship.
Archbishop, while many, and I'm looking at social media cheering you on, some are asking, is that enough?
It's a beginning point. I will not say it is enough, but I'm saying it is a beginning